Hello and welcome to the Money Tree. I'm David Holt and this is
David Marks.
And we are we're not experts, but we're trying to help you do better with your money. Just because maybe I didn't learn the best way to handle mine to start with, and you are such a tightwad.
Right.
That's why you have
There's
money.
no doubt. I have a little bit just because I never spend. So that's a good way to put it. Today we're going to talk about and try to focus on those who may be in the 60. How old are you again, David?
Thanks a lot.
Well, you know,
I
do what I can.
55, and I hope someday to be 60-ish.
60-ish, okay.
Yes,
We're going to talk to those today who are looking at what they may do after they're 62 and above. So I have.
Whoa. Can I have to wait till I'm 62 to retire?
You don't have to, but if you want to have a little bit of money, then you'll probably want to. As a matter of fact, you'll probably want to wait till more like 66.
Really?
Yes.
11 more years?
11 more years of, trying to earn money to prepare for those days that are going to come when you are retired.
So if there's anybody out there that's young, get you a job that pays a lot of money so you can retire, or do a better job saving your money as you get a little bit older. I think we were talking the other day at the house. You was like, if you just put $100 a week or a paycheck.
Yes, it was. You can do either, but $100 a month will go a long way. And we're actually going to we're going to break that down maybe in the next episode that we do.
Okay,
so that'd be awesome.
Well, be sure and call a friend and tell them to tune in to the Money Tree. We're going to help you, hopefully, give you some tips and some pointers to help you do better with your finances.
Right. So let's just go ahead and get started, if we can. Let me ask you this important question: what do you think is the average retirement age in the state of Alabama?
I had hoped 55, but I guess that's not it.
That might be a little shy.
Okay.
55 is not a good answer. As a matter of fact, we have
as a teacher, you should say, that's a good try, but not quite what I'm looking for.
Right. Well, as a counselor, I always say, way to go, but you're wrong. So that's my students know that I'm pretty blunt most of the time. If we can look at this graph real quick, we can see that the average retirement age in the state of Alabama is actually 62.
Hey, I'm not too far away.
So you're not too far away. However, we're going to try to discuss today why 62 may not be your best bet to try to retire, even in the state of Alabama. Because, of course, we know that we're just not part of the state of Alabama, but we're also part of the United States of America.
We are, and proud of it.
Yes, we are, very much so. So, if you think that 62 or 63 is a good age to retire, it's important to know, well, what am I going to have as a benefit at age 62?
Like Social Security or something like that, or a retirement benefit?
Well, it would be both.
Okay.
So let's take and just throw some things out here right now. So a Roth IRA, you can withdraw a Roth at 59 and a half without any penalties. In a traditional IRA, you can too. However, you can do the same with a 401k. However, your Social Security benefits, which are what most people see as a safety net, well, they're not going to apply exactly in full force at age 62 or age 63.
Got to wait a little longer.
You do have to wait a little longer. So if we can, we have a next slide here that we would like to show you. And we can see that if you retire at age 63 and 9 months in 2017, now of course we know legislation may change some of this, that your monthly benefits will be $904 a month.
Which sounds like a lot, but...
It does sound like a lot. But there's a big difference in 66, which is $1,094, and in 70 at $1,519. So you can see that there's a big difference in waiting on that to retire. So let's just think about it in this term. 75% of the benefit is what you would receive today if you retire at 63.
Okay.
So when we look at those numbers and we think about the $900 a month, there's going to be a lot more things that we have to look at into the budget of why that money really doesn't go that far.
Right.
What do you think you spend on groceries every month?
It depends on if I have kids around or not. You know, when the kids are at the house, our grandkids would be there, and it takes a lot more food. When it's just Vicky and I and Avery, there's not that much we have to purchase.
Right, or if a nephew comes to eat, that probably adds more to your budget.
This is true.
That does happen because I like food. So, you see that where you have $900 a month. Now, when I was in college, I could take $900 and I could have lived great. That was like double ramen noodles on Tuesday nights. So
that's very unhealthy,
That is very unhealthy, and I think that my gallbladder paid for that later on in life. So,
I think you're right.
But at age 65, you'll actually get 93.3% of your
Okay.
benefits. Now, it is
That you've paid in.
that you have paid in. Now,
Yes.
here's the thing that it's important to remember. To receive the benefits from Social Security, you have to pay in for up to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can go get a job at 59 and you've never worked before, and then you're like, hey, all right, I get the benefits from
Benefit.
Social Security. Right.
Is a Social Security benefit based on what you've actually paid in, or do they hold out the same amount no matter what level of pay you've earned?
There's going to be a level of pay
Mm-hmm.
scale that it's going to be based off of, and that's really going to apply a lot towards your medical benefits and things later on that we can see, because
Okay.
we do know that when you get to retirement age, or if you're in retirement age right now, we want to keep that tax bracket as low as we possibly can. And there's going to be things that we'll show you in just a few minutes that will show you how that actually impacts your life from day to day and month to month and in your budget. So let's just say someone's salary is $35,000 a year.
Okay.
Okay. At age 62, they're going to have that benefit that we talked about of $904 a month. Okay. And we saw where those would graduate and those would get bigger. Now let's take an example here. In the state of Alabama, we're both in education.
Mm-hmm.
When you retire, they give you your health insurance for free, correct?
No.
No, they do not.
They do not.
As a matter of fact, it's probably going to be about $800 a month,
Which is crazy.
which seems to be a lot.
It seems to be a lot.
So we're thinking of it in these terms, okay? If we are paying $800 a month for our health insurance, how much money do we have left over out of the $900?
Only 100.
Right.
And that doesn't go very far toward a light bill, cable bill.
Exactly.
TV bill.
Exactly. And although you may have your home in your possession, you've paid off your mortgage, whatever it may be, we hope you do by that time, you're still going to have the lights and the water and the food
And the insurance.
and insurance. So looking at that, you're not going to have a lot of a benefit to receive from Social Security if you retire at 62, because Medicare will not kick in until you're 65 and 10 months.
Wow.
Really, 66 is the good age to look at that.
11 years, Dave. Thanks.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to save you money. I'm trying to help you out there, because, when we look at that insurance cost of $800 a month, when you would draw $900 a month compared to $1,500, that makes a really big difference. Really big difference.
And you want to spoil the grandkids. That's why you want to have the money at the end of the rainbow.
Sure
The
you do.
golden pot at the end of the
End
rainbow.
of the
We
rainbow.
should have named our show that.
That might have been good. But there would probably been leprchaun jokes.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know,
That's
so here
You
we
can't
go.
wear green because of the green screen.
That's true. I learned that lesson. Thankfully, I had on a jacket last week,
Yeah,
so that helped.
that's good.
That helped. I didn't want to just be a head. that might have not been too appealing. Or
Probably.
it might have brought in
might
more
have.
people to watch.
You
You
never
never
know.
know. So
Never
there you
know.
go. And Jinx, you owe me a Coke for that. You never know there. So let's turn. Since we've talked about the benefits that you receive from Social Security, and we know that it's best if at all possible. Now, people get sick, things happen in life that you're not planning on. That's part of it. But if you can wait till a later time, let's say that you wait till age 65 or 66, and you're not having to shell out that money for your insurance, well, there is a good break there, because once you get to age 65, you can receive a thing called Medicare. And if we can, we have a slide for Medicare, and because Medicare is not just this one lump sum product that you get that just throws everything together. Medicare actually has different parts.
Don't you think that's the most confusing when people are at that age trying to decide which part to choose? So you're going to make it simple for us.
We're going to try to make it simple, because we're here to help everyone out there that's listening to us or watching us, whatever it may be. So let's just take a quick look at what Medicare parts there are, okay? Medicare Part A. Now, when most people think Medicare, they think that everything's covered. I can go get my dentures and that's going to be covered, but that's not the case, and we hope that you still have your teeth at 66.
I do too. I have them now. I hope they'll last a little longer.
Right, well, I understand that. Well, Medicare Part A basically is your hospital insurance.
Okay.
Now,
Just hospitalization.
just hospitalization. It's not going to cover your doctor visits. So if I said, well, you're going to have free insurance from the government when you turn 65, called Medicare, you're thinking, well, if I get sick and I go see my doctor, then that's taken care of. But it's not.
Yeah.
So Medicare Part A is free. It's given to you and provided to you by the taxpayers through government. However, Part B, which is your health insurance, is not.
Okay.
So how do you think you would pay for that? If it's not free, of course, someone's paying for it, which would be you. What do you think the cost might be on that?
Oh my goodness. Well, $500 maybe?
Well, that might be a good estimate. And $500, if you were paying $8, like we talked about before, that would still be a good savings, right? But it's actually, on average, about $105 a month.
Okay. And that's for Part B.
That's for Part B.
Okay.
And what Part B is going to consist of is your x-rays, your mental health care, some home health visits, laboratory tests. What do we know about, people that are on up in age? They may break a bone. And so...
And they're always your own, probably that time of life, your own blood pressure or something, and the doctor wants to do some blood work and those types of tests, and that would be covered under Part B.
That would be covered if your doctor wants to do those tests. So, funny story, my dad a few years ago, who is not to this age yet, is taking out the trash, pulling the trash can down the road to be picked up, turns to his left and sneezes and breaks a rib. So what would you do if you're in that group and you're like, I'm going to save myself $105 a month, and you're taking your trash can to the road and you sneeze and break a rib? You break a rib.
I'm sorry, that's my brother-in-law. He's a nice guy, but it is kind of funny to hear.
Well, if it can happen, it will. That's kind of our family motto, because if we work, we're probably going to bleed or break something.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. So if you broke that rib, you wouldn't be able to have x-rays unless you paid out of pocket.
Which is expensive.
Which would be very expensive, more than the $105. So let's say that you go to your doctor and you are put on blood pressure medicine, you're put on diabetes medicine, things like that. Is that cost of your medicine included in Part B?
Ooh, that's a good, I would say, I don't know. Yes? No. What do you say out there?
What would you think?
They say no.
They say no, well, they would be correct.
Okay.
Because there's actually Part D that covers for your medicine. And again, with Part D, there's going to be a fee charged for that. Now, Part D is going to be based off of your income. So we can't just say, all right, everyone out there 65 and older, you're going to sign up for Part A, B, and D, and we need you to send us $200 a month and you'll be covered. That's not how that works. As a matter of fact, Part D typically can be $10 a month, but it can be up to $176 a month.
Oh my goodness. Is it not crazy? You're supposed to make life easier when I get to be older.
Right. Well, this is the easiest way I can make it. Now, it would be wonderful if we could just say, all right, everyone that's 65 and older, they get free insurance. That would be great. And I would feel right by paying in more taxes to take care of those who have worked all their life. The only problem is that the cost is so excessive.
Yeah. Healthcare is one of those staggering costs that just seem to go up more and more.
It is.
So let me recap just a minute. When I get
sure.
to be 65, I can get Part A for free.
Yes.
And Part A only covers my hospitalization.
Yes. It'll cover some other things, like it may cover home health, or it may cover nursing home. It may, being the case there. Of course, if you want to go to a nursing home, you have to decide which nursing home you want to go to. If you're going to pay out of pocket, hey, that's to your discretion.
Right.
But if you're going to use what the government supplies you, you have to use what the government sends you. So.
Okay. Part B would cover the cost of going to your doctor.
Yes. Yes.
Not prescription co-pays, just your doctor visit and the test and things he would want to do.
Yes, preventive care type measures would be considered there. Medical equipment might be considered there. You'll see advertisements all the time on TV about, get a free knee bracelet, things like that, or whatever it may be. So that would be covered under your Part B.
All right, and Part D takes care of the prescriptions.
Yes, it is the outpatient prescription drug plan. And again, this is typically bought from a private company. Usually Medicare supplements are purchased through companies that are offering those in contract with the government or with an insurance company. Actually, I had license in that for a while, and
really?
But it's not really something that I pushed. It wasn't a market that I tried to reach out to. So.
Well, let me ask a question. We went A, B, and we skipped a letter to D. So what is the missing letter here?
That is Part C. And
Okay.
Part C is not typically used. Some people may use this, but that is where a company will actually just have all the benefits supplied, like a package deal, that they are in conjunction with the federal government, but it's not through the federal government. So it's almost like it's contracted from the government through this company to you.
Now, what would Part C cover?
Well, Part C would cover a health plan, like an HMO or a PPO. So it would be a lot like the health insurance you may have through the state of Alabama, through PHIP, which would cover your doctor visits, and also included in that is your prescription drug.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So some people who are not typically a state employee would have to choose A, B, and D. But someone who would be a state employee would have A and C or just C?
Well, you can't have A and C.
Okay.
You can have A, B, D, or you can have C.
Ah, okay.
So and the thing about it is if you have Part C, you have to pay out of pocket for that. And of course, that's going to be because A's free, B, there's a cost, D, there's a cost.
Based on your
Based off your income. Yes, based off your income. And of course, there's a graduated scale. You can always go online and look at Medicare.gov and you can see what you might be paying if you wanted to look at that. We'll also be sharing that to our Facebook page, which we have through social media. You know, the thing about it is, folks, we want to get you all the information we can because in this time of technology and everything we have, you know, you may be great or your kids may be great at using social media, things like that. However, we may have some people 66 out there that are not real sure, or they're 64 and getting ready to cross that retirement threshold, and they're not real tech savvy. So,
hey, I'm learning something new every day. I will tell you this is a true story. All right, when I deal with young people, they pull out their cell phones and they're using both thumbs, you know, when they're sending their texts, and I'm the old guy, one finger. But you put me down in a keyboard, I can type all day long without looking, and they're doing two fingers.
Wow.
So, hey, we all have our skill sets. So don't be discouraged if you can't or not technologically savvy. There are people who can help you. We can help you. I'm sure if you went to a public library, if you have a neighbor or a friend, we're here to help you. And as David said, our Facebook page is up and running. If you have a question, something we've covered today, you're like, what did they say? I don't remember. Go look at the Facebook page, send us a question, and we'll be glad to answer it for you.
Well, we definitely don't want to put anyone into information overload.
Yeah.
And of course, I think this disclaimer needs to be said, that it's important that we're trying to give you information we can, but if you're really serious about looking at your retirement, you need to talk to a financial planner. That would be very smart. Now, there's one more thing that we can look at with the Medicare and with the retirement and everything rolled into is, what if you work, but yet you want to draw Social Security? Is that possible?
Well, my goodness, if I've worked till I'm 65, I want to retire and not work for a while.
Right, and that's what the plan would be. However, how many times have you seen people who we know of in the school system especially who have retired and, you know, 2, 3, 4 months, years later, they're working somewhere. Now, some people still want to work. I love to work. That's just a family trait that I believe in and I think that we should have. And let's just say that I do decide to go back to work on my choice. Well, that's fine, but there are some people who have to because of the staggering cost of just day-to-day living. So if you decide to retire early and you decide to get your Social Security benefits early, which as we said would be best if you could wait, then at that age 63, for every $2 you make, they deduct $1 from your Social Security.
Wow.
So now that is, of course, when you hit those limits, and the limit that you can make is $16,920 a year.
Wow. So is that it? That's on our fourth screen?
I believe that is on our fourth screen. Yes, if we can look at that for just a moment. It's going to be income based, and so that is going to kind of give us an idea here. If you're in the year that you reach full retirement age, so we're talking about you're ready to enter into that retirement year of 65, 66, Social Security will deduct $1 in benefits for every $3 you earn. So they give you another dollar there to make, and they also raise the limit to $44,880.
All right, the limit, that's the most you can make?
Well, that would be the limit to where they start deducting the money.
Okay.
So that's the most you can make before they start having the deductions. And you can see there's a huge jump between the $16,920 and going to the $44,880. So now, starting with the month that you reach full retirement age, this is the big thing here, so that when you are out doing the money tree one day and they're signing you to these multi-million-dollar contracts for all this advice you've given people, then when you reach full retirement age, there's no limit on your earnings.
Really?
Yes. So let's say that you decide to become an educational consultant at age 69.
Okay.
Okay. When you reach that age and the state of Alabama or whoever you work with hires you to make $75,000 a year as an educational consultant, you can still draw your Social Security benefits.
And there is no limit to
There's no limit to that, as of right now.
But you have to be retirement age.
But yes,
Of 66
or more.
66 or more.
Really, 66 and 10 months is what they like for you to shoot for there.
So is this a reason that someone who's maybe working for the state or the school system needs to work a little longer?
It is. It would be a good reason. The biggest reason probably is the cost of the benefit package that they're looking at. You know, I can retire at 53 with 30 years from the school system. However, at 53, I have a long way to go before I get the insurance that I'm going to need at a much cheaper cost. I'm going to be shelling out the $8,000 or at that time, who knows, $1,000 a month. That's $1,200 a year times multiple years. You've taken everything you put in the nest egg and you've lost it just to pay for insurance.
Yeah.
And it is important also to know that if you're at retirement age and you're thinking, well, I'm 66, now I'm going to be pulling money out of my 401k and I might exceed that limit, so I can't retire. Well, the good news is the way that the Social Security system is established, pensions or annuities or investment income, veteran or governmental retirements are not included in that salary.
Okay.
So like the state of Alabama has a pension plan that we are part of. If you're drawing from that pension plan here, what did you say, you're 2 years away from?
Well, I actually could retire today.
Could retire today, okay.
We're 33 years in.
Okay. So let's say that you decided to retire, then that pension does not count as your income.
Okay.
Now, if you retire as a career coach in Alabama and you decide to go to Georgia, that Georgia is going to be counted as income, and of course you're not ready to draw Social Security benefits yet anyway.
Right.
Still a few years away.
A few years away.
More years. Well, I hope that we gave good information. I hope that everything that we covered was able to help with you. We always want you to feel free to ask questions. Now, we can be contacted via email, of course, through the website. You can also always feel free to contact us through our Facebook page. Please post, let us know questions you may have. We'll do our best to answer those questions in a timely manner, and if also here.
And hopefully we can bring more ideas that you may have or questions you want to learn more about to the show. Our very first show, we had a great critic, your niece, my daughter.
Yes.
She was like, Dad, you focus really too much on the younger crowd. And that's one of the things, as we're talking in our show, The Money Tree, we want to appeal to a wide variety of audience people. You know, sometimes we want to help you with the younger people and what they can do to establish good habits of saving and financial stability, really.
Yes.
And also those of us that are getting closer to retirement age, to the point that you want to draw Social Security and you want to be able to retire and do something totally different, we'd like to be able to help you with those kinds of things as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, because freedom is something that, of course, takes a sacrifice, whether it be, you know, our freedom that we have that our military and our soldiers provide from day to day, or whether it be your financial freedom that you have in your home. And that.
Well, and talking about money is not the most pleasant activity, you know, especially at the family dinner table.
Right. Well, it's important to know that, you know, it's just like with any other problem. You may not realize you have a spending problem until you have to encounter it. But when you encounter it and you face it, you can try to start getting a hold on it, and you can prepare for this day, because there's one thing we know, that if time permits and persists, that we're all going to reach that wonderful age of retirement.
Hopefully that will be a good thing.
Hopefully, yes. And I hope they don't run me out of my job with pitchforks or whatever you may want to say. So we want to be prepared so that we can, of course, have a comfortable life after you get ready to retire.
And one thing you touched on just a minute ago before we are out of time, what is some way that someone can begin to look at their spending habits? You know, someone who's just brand new, they're like, well, there's money in the, well, this is a true story. I used to say to my mom, well, you have a check, just write a check, you have checks. They didn't understand the concept. There must be money in the account from which to write the check from.
Right.
So what's a good way to just start looking at your finances, your spending, that's just a practical way that just the everyday person can do that?
Well, it's like with anything else. It's very important documentation, number one. You have to know where your money is going. You have to track your spending. There's all kind of programs out there. Of course, if you're very tech savvy and you like to dig into things, you could use QuickBooks or something like that. Or you can just use something as simple as Microsoft Excel to create a spreadsheet, and we're going to have those actually. Doing month-to-month budgets also is very important. And so in time, we hope to show you where your money's going. because money can be like a drain in a tub. If you don't plunge it every now and then, you're just going to stop up, and then if you're not careful, it'll run everything out. So you'll be out of cash.
And we don't want you to be out of cash.
No,
we want you
we
to
do
have
not.
something to fall back on. So just remember, as we've looked at a couple of things today, don't get confused when it comes to the Social Security age and you're ready to start drawing and it's time to make some choices. If you want to pick A, which is absolutely free when you're age 62.
No.
No?
No.
How old is it again?
65.
65. Okay, excuse me.
I was going to quiz you on that, actually.
When you're 65, Part A is absolutely free. Part B would be something you would have to incur. Well, let me back up. Part A covers for the hospitalization.
Hospitalization, it'll cover some nursing homes.
And Part B would be something you'd want for doctor visits.
Yes.
And Part D was the prescription plan.
Yes. And
Hey.
yeah, you see, you got it. What age?
65.
65. Yes, 65.
But remember, if you're an employee that has that insurance plan, like a state employee or a state teacher, you would look at Part C, which is everything combined together,
If offered.
if it was offered.
There are private companies that offer insurance, and that's where Part C kicks in. You may decide to go with a private company. So you may decide, hey, I'm going to stay with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and I'm going to pay for it out of pocket because I like the services I have. If they offer that, then you can use Part C. For people in our area, though, for most people in this area, and typically they would go with Part A, B, and D. And you
And you need to shop around for those.
Sure, you absolutely. You know what's great about America is we have a free market system. So, you know, you can go and say, hey, Company A, I would like to see what your benefits are. I'm retirement age, I need some health insurance, and see what they're going to charge you.
And you know, we're talking about getting on the phone or the computer and looking for shopping around and being savvy with spending. But you know, my mom and my grandparents did the same thing. They just did it with a sale paper.
Sure.
I can remember my mother pulling out the sales paper, and we go to one store to buy these items, and we go to another store to buy these items because of the sale price.
Sure.
So we've been doing those kinds of things for years and years. It was just in a different format or a different version.
Well, and companies have these people called salesmen that work off commission, and they love to get that commission. That's how they keep their lights on.
Well, that's how they make their money.
That's how they make their money. So the best thing to do is to contact several different brokers or salesmen, whatever it may be, and say, hey, you know, I've talked to company A, B, and C. What is your company going to be able to offer me for this amount of price?
So as you're getting closer and closer to the retirement age, like myself, and you're thinking maybe 1, maybe 2 more years, he just burst the bubble. I mean, it's like if I want to be there a little longer to the point that Social Security will kick in, I've got to hang on and do my job a little bit longer, or find another job with which to stay employed.
Yes.
But take a wise piece of advice from my youngest son, who said, Dad, if you like what you're doing and you enjoy it, you might as well keep doing it, because
Absolutely.
if you're going to have to get another job and reestablish yourself somewhere else, you know, what good is that?
What benefit is that going to really be to you?
Yeah,
Right.
you've worked hard to get to the place you are today. Why not keep doing what you love and enjoy? And that's one thing I want to encourage you about. Whatever age you are, hope you find the job that you enjoy, because if you're doing something you truly love, you never work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
You're just getting to do what you love.
I love what I do. I have an awesome place to work. I have great people that I work with, and so it's fun to work.
They accept your weird personality?
They love my dry humor and my quirkiness, and they accept it. I'll just say that.
And I want to say we appreciate your dad being our object of if something can
I'm sure
happen,
he
it
will love me telling that story.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Breaking
he'll
a
love that.
rib, carrying the garbage out, and sneezing.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching The Money Tree. Hope you'll tune in again next time. We'll see you next
ya.
time.